What's up, everybody? Tiger Joker here with Purple and Gold Talk. Um, we got a lot to discuss. Not good things, but we're going to get into it. As we sit here in today, LSU baseball sits at 22-15 on the year. I know it's not great. I know we're all disappointed. I know the season looks down. The season's not over. Does it look down? Absolutely. We're on a 4-game losing streak right now. Again, not great. Um, Going into the season, we expected a lot better things from this team, but it just hasn't happened. And it's many of factors that go into it. But um, it's not time to give up on this team. We sit 6-9 in the SEC right now, and as of now, that is 14th out of 16 teams. If this was another year before the SEC tournament changed to all the teams made it, we might have something to worry about. But as we said today, all 16 teams get into the tournament. And if you can get into the tournament and make a run, you can make your season better. So we do sit at 14th in the SEC at 6-9. A note that is, kind of shocking with the way the season is going. You're only 2 games out of 5th place in the SEC. 2 games. The weird SEC schedule this year and teams just beating up on each other makes that happen. So at 6-9, you're only 2 games out of 5th place. Now, upcoming schedule gets a little bit more difficult. You have 5 SEC weekend series left. 4 as of right now are against ranked teams. And the only one that's not against a ranked team is South Carolina. And South Carolina, which is at the bottom of the SEC, has been playing a whole lot better since Paul Mainieri was fired. Yes, former LSU coach Paul Mainieri was fired. Now, they're still at the bottom. They're still, they won this past weekend against Missouri, which is also at the bottom. But they are playing better baseball. So coming up, like I said, 4 ranked SEC opponents. 2 of them on the road. You do travel to Mississippi State, and you do travel to Georgia. 2 difficult places to play. Georgia sits atop of the SEC right now, even after losing the weekend series this past week. Mississippi State, also ranked, difficult road games coming up, is actually on a 6-game SEC losing streak. They lost 3 to Georgia, and then they lost 3 this past weekend to Tennessee. That same Tennessee team that LSU beat last weekend in the weekend series swept Mississippi State at home. So the season's not over in any way. This team can get hot. Weird things happen. SEC baseball is a juggernaut. We all know that. Same thing with football. Same thing with baseball. The best play the best. Now, LSU, and by no means is at the best of the SEC right now. But LSU has the talent to make things happen. A lot of people compare this season to the 2024 season. Yes, that was another down year coming off of a national championship. But that's about all that these 2 teams really have in common. Back in 2024, you actually had, I believe, 2 better pitchers at that time in their LSU career. You had Luke Coleman and Gage Jung, both who would go on to be second-round picks in the MLB draft that year. Yes, we have Casey Evans, we have William Schmidt, both sophomores, but at this point in their career, Luke Holman and Gage Jump were better pitchers. Now, that's not saying come next year's draft that William Schmidt, Casey Evans won't be a first-round pick because the talent's there. Can they put it together to be that pitcher? So in 2024, midway through the SEC conference, which is 15 games. If you don't know, in the SEC baseball, you play 30 conference games. Right now, we're at 15. We're at the halfway point at 6-9. In 2024, that team sat at 3-12. 3-12. You think that team gave up? You think that team's fans gave up on them? I'm sure you had the same folks that you have now saying, "Oh, the season's over. This team is trash. This team is not going anywhere." And you're gonna have that. You're gonna have that every year. I don't care if you go 33-1. You're gonna have that certain fans that one game you lose, or they're gonna say the season's over. And that is people that are just fans of LSU baseball. That is people that don't understand baseball in general. I mean, baseball is a difficult sport. It's hard to go back-to-back champions in baseball, college baseball. Very difficult. Matter of fact, it hasn't been done in years. Very, very difficult. But like I said, that team was at 3-12, halfway through. They finished at 13-17, so they went on a run. They go on to win 4 games in the SEC tournament, losing to Tennessee in the SEC championship game of that tournament. Making the postseason, traveling on the road to North Carolina, in which they would eventually lose in the regional championship game to North Carolina. And we all know how that happened. Fly ball to right field. Jake Brown misplays it. North Carolina takes the lead, wins the game, season over for the Tigers. That same Jake Brown that a lot of people after that game wanted to transfer. They wanted him to transfer out of this LSU program because of a mistake that he made. That same Jake Brown that leads this team in home runs with 15. Come on. And it shows a lot about certain fans when they do that. They're there to cheer when this team is at its high, and they cheer as loud as anybody there is. But let one bad little thing happen, and they're so negative. And we're going to get to that a little bit later. We're going to use this platform to call that out. And I'm not going to call out names. I'm not going to, point fingers at anyone in particular. We're just going to talk about certain things that happen. So, like I said, you got 5 SEC series coming up, 2 on the road, 3 at home. The first one is this coming weekend against Texas A&M. Texas A&M is coming off a 2-game series win against Texas. Third game got rained out. 2 games wins the series at home. You're also going to host South Carolina at home, and you're going to host Florida at home. Florida is hot this past weekend after losing the series the weekend before to Ole Miss. The SEC, certain weeks, teams are hot. Mississippi State went in and beat Ole Miss. I'm pretty sure they swept the series. They won the series for sure. I'm pretty sure they swept it. And then they go on a 6-game SEC losing streak at home. So anything can happen. Now, we sit at 6-9 right now at this point in the season. Looking at regional play, you want to be anywhere, 13, 14, 15, somewhere around there. Now, we can pretty much say hosting a regional is off the table. Could it happen? I mean, if you go on a major run, possibly. But at this point, we're just looking to get into the tournament. So you're looking at the 13, 14, 15 range. And sitting 6-9, you're looking at going 8-7, 9-6 in your next 15 games. Not impossible. Difficult, but not impossible. If anything about this SEC baseball season has taught you that, I mean, nothing's impossible. LSU goes and beats Tennessee in Tennessee last weekend to win the series, and then Tennessee goes on the road and sweeps Mississippi State. Mississippi State, a top 10 team. That shows you right there that anything can happen in SEC baseball. The talent is there. Yes, we may not have the high profile transfer portal players that we've had in the past, but the players that we have are good players. These same players that fans cheered for when they were doing good and then want to bash when they're doing bad. Now, you don't have to be okay with the results. You don't have to be okay with the performance. You think anybody is? No. If you are happy with the performance that is put out on that field right now, you got a problem. But to negatively bash somebody about it, that's where we draw the line. But again, we're going to get into that. So, if you can go 8-7, if you can go 9-6 over your next 15 games, go to the SEC tournament, win a game, 2, maybe 3, you're sitting pretty good. You will be on the road, and to my knowledge, that LSU has never won a national championship not hosting a regional. I'm pretty sure LSU has never made it to Omaha not hosting a regional. But weirder things have happened. Again, not impossible, difficult, but doable. So we'll get into the weekend that passed. Like I said, the Tigers on a 4-game losing streak after losing to Bethune-Cookman in the midweek game. Yes, it's a loss to a SWAC team. Bethune-Cookman is not your average SWAC team. Bethune-Cookman is a very good baseball team. Yes, the Tigers should have won. The Tigers needed that win. But Bethune-Cookman hit the ball. Bethune-Cookman made the plays that was needed, and you got a midweek loss. So then you go into Ole Miss this weekend, looking for a little bit of momentum, and you didn't seize that moment. You're facing an Ole Miss pitching staff who's been pretty good on the season, and would prove to be that as the series goes on. Let's check the comments real quick before we get into it. We got Mr. Jim Cross of In Off the Bench podcast. If you're not following this man, please do. Great information, great guy. Even, you ever need anything, any information from him, that he's there for you. Does great work with players. Yes, he is an LSU fan, but he is also a fan of many teams and many players. And you have to respect that. This man does his work to give the players the recognition they deserve and puts them on a pedestal to the world to see. He's got many, many interviews with LSU players. He's got many, many interviews with players of other SEC teams. So, like I said, if you're not following him, if you're not seeing his work, please go do. Also, promoter of Jesus One Apparel. If you don't know what that is, please go to his page and look at it. It's a movement, and it's a movement that is very, very big, and he does a great job of getting it out there. Speaking of Jim was in Ole Miss this past weekend to watch the Tigers take on Ole Miss. So we go into Friday night, which many believe would be the best pitching matchup of the weekend. Casey Evans versus Hunter Elliott. Hunter Elliott's been around for a long time at Ole Miss. Hunter Elliott's a lefty ace. Hunter Elliott was on Ole Miss's national championship team the year they won. That's how long he's been around. So going into Friday night, that was the headline of the game. Casey Evans versus Hunter Elliott. The Tigers would get off to a hot start. 2 batters in, 2-0 lead. Chris Stanfield walk, Jake Brown home run. Um, Number 14 on the year, and the Tigers get to rolling. And as a Tiger fan, you're like, here we go. And Ole Miss would come back and score 2 in the first on 4 hits. So it wasn't the walks that was hurting LSU. Ole Miss hit the ball. Now, going into the series, Ole Miss was not a powerful offensive staff. Coming out of the weekend, they did a pretty good job. So, like I said, end of the first inning, Tigers tied 2-2. Second run for Ole Miss would score on a pass ball. Something that has harped this LSU team all year. Pass balls, wild pitches, pickoffs to first, errors in the field. The major downfall of this team is that. And it would come back and bite you in the first inning with a pass ball, would allow the second run to score. So, like I said, 2-2. It was 2-2 after the first. Ole Miss would get another run on the home run from the number 9 hitter, his first home run of the year. We went into this season with Casey Evans not allowing a home run in his career, and it's kind of hit him a little bit this year. He's given up, I want to say 4 or 5 home runs on the year, which isn't horrible. It just wasn't something we were used to from Casey Evans. But other than that, Casey Evans gave you what you needed. He gave you six innings. Only gave up. I want to say he only gave up 5 hits or 6 hits, and 4 of them were in the first inning. So Casey Evans settled down and did Casey Evans things. The Tigers were tied up in the 7th after being down 3-2. An inning that started great. The Tigers would get the bases loaded, but only score 1 run. And that 1 run would come in on Derek Curiel's sacrifice fly. Scoring William Patrick from third base, who pitch ran for John Pearson to score the tying run. Now, you ask why I mentioned William Patrick running for John Pearson, which at that point, you had no problem with it. You get a fast runner in to score the tying run. But at the point, you take John Pearson out the game. Seth Dardar moves to third. Ethan Claus goes into second base, which would lead to the bottom of the 7th. Ethan Claus would go in to play second base. So you're at 3-3 going into the bottom of the 7th. Zach Calvin would come in and replace Casey Evans, and get 3 up, 3 down. Bottom of the 7th. Keep the game score going into the 8th. Mason Braun would lead off the 8th with a base hit, but would immediately get picked off first base. Now, if you know anything about baseball, a left-hander with a nasty pickoff move is usually a balk. And what I seen of the pickoff was a balk. He committed more to home plate than he did to first base, breaking that 45-degree rule. Now, as a pitcher, he did everything right. You use that pickoff move until it's called. All great pickoff moves are usually balks. But you keep doing it until you make the umpire call it. And it didn't get called. And he got picked off, kind of breaking the momentum of the LSU offense, who would then go 3 and out, taking you to the bottom of the 8th when things would unravel. You get a base hit to shortstop into the shift, which Ethan Claus is at shortstop, has to make a difficult play to his right, throw to first base. Runner is safe. Again, the shift has worked for LSU some this year, but in my opinion, it has hurt LSU more than it has helped them. And Friday night, in that situation, if Milam's at shortstop, I believe that play is made. Again, I'm not questioning Jay. I'm not questioning the movements. It's just my opinion on the matter. The next batter would hit a ground ball to shortstop where Stephen Milam was. Make a difficult play to second base with Ethan Claus was not on the bag. He was in the shift. He was behind second base. Didn't get to the bag in time to cover it. So now you have runners at first and second with no outs. Another infield hit to third base would load the bases. Fly ball to deep right field. Base hit that hits at the wall. Would score a run, putting Ole Miss up 4-3. You would get lucky and catch the runner between first and second to get the out at first. But then a squeeze would score a run in which you don't make a play on it. And I'm not trying to harp, but you're in the shift again, and Ethan Claus doesn't make the play on the ball at the plate and even touches it before it goes foul, allowing the run to score, the runner to get on base, and a base hit. I'm not harping on Ethan Claus, but pitch running for John Pearson in the seventh to score that tying run puts things in motion, which puts someone that's not used to playing in the field, and things happen. Again, not blaming Ethan Claus at all. He's a freshman. He's going to be good. He doesn't have, he doesn't have the reps in games to maybe see some things happen. Again, he's going to be a great player, not blaming him in any way. But pitch running for John Pearson at the time seemed great, and it got you the tying run in, but it also put the wheels in motion to have Claus in on defense. A sac fly would make it 6-3 and basically put the game out of reach. The Tigers wouldn't do anything in the ninth. Ole Miss lose. Ole Miss wins game 1 6-3. And we go into Saturday. Again, Tigers get up 2-0 after the first 2 innings. Mr. Paul Jarrett in the chat. Again, if you're not following Paul Jarrett, please do. The man is doing amazing things for this LSU program. Don't believe me. Go look for yourself. Follow Paul Jarrett on X. Also, Walk It Off Talk. Paul Jarrett, he's going to be live tonight, so go follow him and look at the things that he's doing. Again, amazing stuff. I'll actually talk about it a little bit later on the show. But again, don't take my word for it. Go look for yourself. So on Saturday, again, you would get up 2-0 in the first 2 innings. First inning, you would get a 2-out double from Stephen Milam. In my opinion, should have scored 2 runs. Aaron Beatty's on first base. Balls hit to the wall in right field. Outfielder bobbles it a little bit. 1 run would score, but Aaron Beatty would stop at third base. And they showed a view of the dugout, and Jay Johnson was like, what happened? Never really got a real good view of the play. So we don't know if he stumbled, he didn't get a good jump or something like that. We don't know. But he would be stranded at third base, only scoring 1 run in the inning instead of 2. Now, with the outcome of the game, it might not matter, but that's the little things that a winning baseball program does. Take advantage of the situation instead of failing in the situation. The Tigers would get 1 run in the first. The Tigers would get another run in the second. Go up to 2-0. And yeah, we score a run in the second. But it could have been a lot better. The Tigers got 2 runners on second and third with nobody out. Mason Braun, who I want to give a big, huge shout out, had an amazing weekend. Didn't get a hit on Sunday, but between Friday and Saturday, I think he went 5 for 7 and played a good first base. And if you know me, you know I was a big Zach York fan, but also on the last show, believed that a change was needed. And that change was made, and it's kind of paying off. Mason Braun is doing great at the plate. He's playing a good first base. So everybody that was calling for Mason Braun to be at first base earlier in the season, I mean, you made your opinion right. Um, but so you would get a base hit from Mason Braun in the second, followed by Omar Stern a double, putting runners at second and third with nobody out. And a thing that has struggled with this team all year is getting runners in from third base with less than 2 outs. Dardar would strike out. Chris Stanfield will come up and get a sacrifice fly to score the second run, putting you up 2-0. But again, it's kind of a letdown when you had second and third, nobody out, and only scored 1 run out of it. And that would be it for the Tigers scoring on the day. So it really puts a damper on things. William Schmidt would look good, very good starting out. He threw 3 scoreless innings where he would strike out 7. And you know baseball, 3 innings, 9 outs, you strike out 7. That's a pretty good day. Going into the 4th is where things get a little different. In my opinion, it looked like William Schmidt was getting squeezed a lot by the home plate umpire. I'm not calling out the umpire. I don't know his name. But if you go back to Friday night in the pickoff of Mason Braun with the balk that wasn't called by the first base umpire, it's now the home plate umpire. You take that as you want. But in my opinion, looked like William Schmidt was getting squeezed. Close pitches wasn't called, making him throw more pitches. You could tell by the broadcast that it was getting to William Schmidt. He was frustrated. He was staring at the umpire. He was staring at the dugout. It was getting in his head. Another somebody in the chat, Mr. Robbie, joining us. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Welcome. But so in that 4th inning, William Schmidt would get what you can tell was getting aggravated, and it would get in his head, and it would really fall apart. Ole Miss would go on to score 4 runs on 3 hits and 2 walks in that inning. They would tie it up 2-2, and then a 2-run homer puts them up 4-2, and that would be it for William Schmidt. So going into the 4th, throwing 3 scoreless innings where he strikes out 7, and then to not make it out of the 4th is a total letdown. Not saying a letdown by Schmidt, just a total down. You go into the 4th, up 2-0, and William Schmidt dealing to go leaving the 4th, 4-2, and William Schmidt is out the game. Ole Miss would score 1 more in the 5th, and then Ole Miss would put up 7 in the 6th to put the game away. Go up by 10 after 6. The Tigers wouldn't do anything to respond. Get Tim Rumrue 12-2 in 7 innings. Scoring only 2 runs in the first 2 innings, in which you had 4 hits, and then being shut out the next 5 innings and only getting 2 hits for the rest of the game. No runs. Losing 12-2 and losing the series. So going into this series, after taking the series against Tennessee, in which you bring your SEC record back to 500, and then losing the first 2 games of this series to put you 2 games on the 500, really put a damper on the weekend. But if you can go into Sunday and win 1 game, you can kind of squander the weekend a little bit instead of a sweep. So going into Sunday, Um, my opinion was a huge game for LSU. Huge game. If you can bring it within one game of being 500 to being instead of being 3 games down, it was a huge game. And things didn't start out great on game 3. Grant Fontenot would get the start. Again, he would get hit. Ole Miss really did a great job of hitting the ball on the weekend. Yes, LSU walked some. Yes, we had some errors. Yes, we had some hit by pitches. But Ole Miss really hit the ball this weekend. Um, Tigers would get down 7-0 in 6 innings. 2 wind-aided home runs to left field and a massive shot over the batter's eye in center field. Ole Miss is up 7-0 in 6. Tiger offense would only manage 2 base runners in 6 innings. A walk to Cade Arambidi and a hit by pitch by Braden Simpson. Other than that, Ole Miss pitcher Rapp really shut the Tigers down. And we're going to mention Jim Cross again. He mentioned before the game that Rapp had probably the best stuff on the Ole Miss staff. But he also mentioned that he was better coming out of the bullpen than a starter. So going into this game, you think that the Tiger offense could take advantage and get up on him, but just never happened. So like I said, first 6 innings, 2 base runners, 1 from a walk, 1 from a hit by pitch. You're down 7-0. And as a fan, you got to think to yourself, are we going to get no hit? Are we going to get 10-run ruled again? You're not giving up hope, but things aren't looking great. And I was driving home from Tennessee after vacation on the weekend, so I had the game on, kind of driving, paying attention best I could. Yes, I did have it on the screen while I was driving. Shh, don't tell nobody. But I did. So, I was kind of driving, paying attention, and you're down 7-0 in the 6. There's no energy in the team. There's no, Ole Miss is at home. Crowd's going crazy. And if you're on X, a lot of things that happened after Saturday's game really had the Ole Miss crowd rowdied up. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to mention it. You can go back and look. Some things happen that shouldn't have happened. But the Ole Miss's crowd is, they're up 7-0. The crowd is into it. LSU is returning to Ole Miss since Lane Kiffin left the Ole Miss football team. So it's like the Tigers have no momentum. They have no drive, no nothing at that point. And then the 7th comes along. Derek Curiel would break the no-hit bid with a solo home run. Cade Arambidi would follow that up with another home run. Jake Brown would follow that up with another home run. Back to back to back. That's 2 weekends in a row on Sunday that the Tigers have went back to back to back on a Sunday game that they were down big. And we've seen it happen 2 Sundays in a row now that the Tigers have got down big and come back. So at that point, you got to think to yourself, here we go again. Sarna and Milan would get back-to-back hits to give you 2 on with nobody out. Ground ball would move the runners over. Strikeout, give you 2 outs. Braden Simpson, who hasn't been in the lineup a couple weeks. I think his last appearance, I can't remember who it was, but he had 1 at bat and he struck out, and we haven't seen him since. Braden Simpson will give you a big 2-out RBI single to bring the game to 7-5 with 1 on and 2 out. Eddie Yaman with pitch hit for Chris Stanfield. Chris Stanfield made an amazing play earlier in the game, crashed up against the wall, did stay in the game, but would be pitch hit for by Eddie Yaman later on in the game. After the game, Jay said that he should be fine, maybe some bruised ribs, something like that, nothing to worry about. But he would get pitch hit for. Eddie Yaman would hit a ball sky high which no one could catch, turn into an infield single. Um, Wild pitch would allow runners to move up to second and third. Derek Curiel with another 2-out, 2 RBI single over the first baseman's head would tie the game. Would bring the game to 7-6. Moving Eddie Yaman to third base. Wild pitch scores Eddie Yaman. Tigers tie it up 7-7. Have all the momentum. Have Ole Miss on the ropes to win the third game. The energy is high. The fight is high. You tie the game up going into the bottom of the seventh. Now, this is my opinion. I know other people have talked about it. Marco Paz threw the sixth and did very good. If you watched LSU baseball this year, Paz has done pretty good in his first inning in all of his appearances. That second inning is what really has given him trouble. Paz would come back out for the bottom of the seventh after throwing a good six and would give up a ground ball. Yes, he gave up a ground ball to first base, which Eddie Yaman, now playing first base, the ball will go off his glove, get past Braden Simpson in right field, an error. In the meantime, Paz goes to cover first base, gets an interference call. Ole Miss has a runner at second with nobody out. My opinion in that situation, after taking the lead, tying the game at 7-7 in the seventh, why not go get the high energy, massive right-hander we have in Devin Sheridan? The energy that he brings to the mound, building off of the momentum that you just got and the energy you just got by scoring 7 runs in the seventh to tie it up, let him feed off of that. Start a clean inning and see what happens. Now, we don't know what could have happened. Same thing could have happened with Sharon. He gives off a base hit. The runner gets a second. Comes around to score later. It can happen. But why not take advantage of the momentum you have at that point? Not questioning Jay's call at all. I'm pretty sure that if you ask him, he wouldn't tell you, but I'm pretty sure he would think that if he could have started sharing that inning, things might have been different. Now, it's no fault on Paz. Paz got the ground ball. He did get down 3-0 and 3-0 on the count and have to groove fastballs. And guy rolls over one, gets through the infield. Interference allows him to be at second. Sacrifice bunt allows him to go to third. And then you bring in Devin Sheridan. He gets 0-2 count on the batter. He throws a ball that's like a foot off the plate on the outside, and the Ole Miss batter reaches out and pokes it to left field, scoring the run. I'm talking about it was 97, a foot off the plate, and the Ole Miss batter did what he needed to do, reached out, put the ball in play, run scores, giving Ole Miss an 8-7 lead. And that would be it, because Tigers wouldn't do anything in the 8th or the 9th. So on the day, the Tigers had 1 inning of offensive production, scoring 7 runs in the 7th. That's not going to win you baseball games. Yes, we know this team can come back from a large deficit. We've seen it time and time again. It just wasn't enough. And that's getting down 7-0 does that to you. But the season's not over. So you go to Ole Miss, you lose the series, you get swept, you fall to 6-9 in the SEC. And if you are on Twitter or X or whatever you call it, and you read people's comments, the season's over. I'm here to tell you it's not over. We're down. Ain't no right or wrong about that. We are down. And will we miss the postseason? It's possible. It possibly could happen if things don't turn around the next few weeks. Now, do I have faith that this team can come back and make it to the postseason and make a run, you're absolutely right. Um, and it all starts with the best coach in baseball, Jay Johnson. You have trust in that man to do things. He has led your program to two national championship in 3 years. He is the best coach in baseball, period. Not just college, period. Um, so yeah, difficult road ahead, but not impossible road ahead. Tigers will be back in the box this week, taking on Northwestern Tuesday, and then hosting Texas A&M on the weekend. Texas A&M coming off a 2-0 series sweep of Texas. A big thing going forward is Cooper Moore. Uh, is he ready to come back? I have no information on that, but him coming back would be a huge thing for this team. Um, we should know later on in the week about his status. Um, but going forward, this offense needs to step up. Pitchers need to throw strikes. Defense needs to make plays. You're down. You're down on the season. Now it's time to put up or shut up. Do you want your season to end by not making the postseason, or do you want to do the things that are needed to get this team into the postseason and make a comeback? Um, so, just a few thoughts on the season. Things that I would like to see. The shift. The shift has caused a lot of problems for this LSU team. And I know that the shift is put in play because of research. I know that people like Chief, Coach Wanaka, put in the work to study film and put the players in the right position to make the plays. But in my opinion, the shift has cost this team a lot more than it's helped this team. Not only are you opening up a whole side of the infield, but you're putting players out of position. Just like Friday night, Ethan Claus is at shortstop instead of Stephen Milam, when Stephen Milam is shipped over to the right side and playing second. Now Ethan Claus is a shortstop, but he is in the game as a second baseman at the time and out of position. Um, so that's just opinion I have about that. Um, and the shift seems to work against us. Just yesterday, I think we hit 3 balls into the second baseman playing deep in right field to make the play at first base. So against us, the shift works. In my opinion, us using the shift hasn't been great. Um, so now we're going to get to something that we talked about earlier, and that is Twitter interactions. Um, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to call out names. I'm not going to call people out and point fingers at them, but it's there. If you're on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, you see it. Yeah, Paul said the play in the 6 hole wasn't on him. I'll get to it. It's the play by Claus wasn't in the 6 hole wasn't on him. Oh, I agree. The play wasn't on him. My opinion, I think Stephen Milam makes that play if you're in a normal position. Uh, so no, it wasn't on him, but the shift causes Stephen Milam to be in the 4 hole instead of the 6 hole. And yes, again, the following play was on him when he didn't get his foot on the bag. Um, Again, in a shifted situation, he's coming from behind the bag instead of his normal second base position. That's no excuse not to be on the bag because it was just a misplay by him. But yeah, so yeah. So like I said, we're gonna get to the people on Twitter bashing players, bashing fans, bashing this program, bashing Jay Johnson. Are you serious? Like I said, Jay Johnson is the best coach in baseball. You can disagree with things he does, but guess what? He gets paid to make the decisions. So you have to trust him. It is okay if you think you know better than him. It's fine. But, you know, I'm just gonna say a few like people on X saying that, this season's over. This team will never win anything again. Things like that. A big thing I have is when you're gonna call a player out by his name negatively and bash him, make fun of them. You're making fun about a player that is doing something that you're not. You're sitting at home on your phone, on your keyboard, while this guy is out there doing the thing that he loves, that he is good enough to do for an SEC program, and you're bashing him. Is it okay to be not happy? Absolutely. I'm not happy with results. Everybody out there is not happy with results. Um, but it's okay to not be happy and not bash people. Not only players, but when you bash somebody for their opinion on somebody. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to call you out. If I see you bashing a player or bashing a fan and being disrespectful, I'm going to call you out. I'm not going to be disrespectful to you, but I'm going to call you out and let people see what you're doing. Um, we have some great fans for this program. We have some great fans for this team. People with better opinions than me, and you're going to sit there and disrespect them. If you are on Twitter, you'll see that a lot, and people are going to say, "Oh, the players don't see this." The fan, that's wrong. Players see everything. You don't think I'm wrong? I posted it on Twitter yesterday. Passing through Knoxville, I stopped at Lindsey Nelson, take a picture of the scoreboard with Cade Beatty 4 home run performance against Tennessee. The scoreboard where he hit the top of the scoreboard to have LSU history. I posted a picture on Twitter, tagging Cade Beatty in it, and he likes it. So to say that players don't see it, you're wrong. And if you think that it doesn't affect them, you're wrong. Players see that. Not only does it affect the players, it affects recruiting. It affects families. Stephen Mom's mom posted on Twitter yesterday that people bashing players should have their name and their face on their account. I agree. Now, if you follow me on X, my name isn't on there, but my face is all over my page. And if you ask me, I'll tell you my name. I'll say it right now. I go by Tiger Joker. My real name is Justin. I'm not there to affect. I'm not there to hide against anybody. My name, Tiger Joker, is just a Twitter handle. That's all it is. But I'm not hiding from anything. Anything I post, my face is on it, and my name is there. All you got to do is ask. But I'm also not going to sit there and bash people. And then people get offense when you call them out for doing that, and threaten you. Talk bad about a mother on Twitter because she has an opinion that you don't think is right because you think you know better, and disrespecting her. That's where the line is going to be drawn. I'm going to call you out. I'm going to post your stuff. I'm going to share it for people to see just how much of a hater you are. So, now you have your opinion on this program. You have your opinion on this team. How can you help? You want to be the one to just sit on Twitter and complain and do nothing about it? No. You want to help this team improve? Join the coaches committee. Put your money where your mouth is. You want this team to do better things? Give Jay Johnson the help he deserves. Because if you know anything about rev share and NIL, baseball program does not get a lot. And it is very hard. It is very hard to run a championship program with no help. Now, Jay Johnson has done amazing things at building this program with the finances and the help he has got, but we can do better. So, like I said, join the coaches committee. We talked about my buddy Paul here. If you go follow him on X, Paul Jarrett, or Walk It Off Talk podcast, he is actually doing a Dylan Cruz giveaway jersey. All you have to do is donate to help. You go follow his page, you go follow his podcast page, and the details are there. Do your part to better this program. Don't talk bad about this team if you're just going to sit back and watch them struggle. No, do your part. You think this team can do better? Show it by making a donation. Not only Paul, there's plenty of other things. A former player's mom, Brandy Fry, did a card giveaway in which she raised, I want to say $2,600 towards the baseball program. That's amazing. I have one coming because I did my part and what was needed to help this program. So, you want to help this program by more than just bashing them on Twitter. Do your part and donate. So, like I said, the season is not over. Your back is against the wall. Absolutely. But, yes, Miss Tiger Joker, we did our part. Not only would I donate, she donated as well. So, we did our part to help this program. You can do yours. So, like I said, your back is up against the wall. Your back has been against the wall the past 3 Sundays, and you've done what you needed to do to come back. Now, this past Sunday, yes, you came all the way back. You still lost the game, but this team had to fight to get back to it. Now your season is on the line. Your back is against the wall on this season. How do you want this season to end? Do you want to be the first LSU baseball team not to make the postseason in how many years? Do you want to be part of that? Or do you want to put the fight in, put the drive in, put the in, put the work in to get this team to postseason and see what happens? Because I can promise you this. You get into the postseason as a 2 seed in somebody else's regional, they don't want to see you. Because of that name across your chest, those 3 letters and them 2 colors, they do not want to see you in their regional. And I don't care who you are. And any fan of any program can say, oh, it don't matter. They're having a down season. I promise you, they do not want to see LSU in their regional as a 2 seed. So my plea to these players, to these fans, these players, do what you do. Put in that work, put in that drive, put in that dedication, put in the energy to bring this season back. To the fans, don't give up on them. Go out and support them. Go out Tuesday night. Go out this coming weekend. Pack the box. Show these fans that you still care. Because I can promise you, if I was on that team and the place was empty, I wouldn't like that. But if I go out on a Friday night and the box is packed, showing support, that's just going to give them more momentum to get the things done. So, we're going to be out there this weekend. I probably won't make all weekend. We're going to be there probably Saturday for sure. So if you go out, reach out to me, reach out to Paul, reach out to, anybody you know at the game, and meet up and just show your support for this baseball team. I promise you, don't give up on them, because you say that season's over now, but they come back and win. You want to be part of that. And I already know that the people that are bashing this team are going to be there when the team starts winning. They're going to be. That's how they are. Don't be that person. Like Paul says, They do have a tailgate Saturday. A bunch of people come stop by, say hello to everyone. Um, make a donation. I think Paul's going to be doing the Dylan Cruz giveaway. I don't know if he's going to do it that day, but you can make your donations all the way up to that day to be part of that raffle. But that's going to do it. About an hour in, I'm going to end this. We might do it later on this week to pregame for Texas A&M. Do a little foreshadowing, look at their team. Yeah, so Paul says Saturday will be the day decides who wins the Dylan Cruz jersey. You want to be part of that? Come out. You don't have to go to the game. It'd be great if you did, but come out and show your support. Show your support for the guys that's been trying to bring this program up. And I'm not giving myself credit. I do my part, but people like Paul Jarrett, people like David Billiard, Zach Nunez, AP, Jim Cross, Rob, other people like that. Instead of seeing negative on the Twitter line, Miss Peggy. If you don't know Miss Peggy on Twitter, go look her up. Another great person to follow. Always very positive, very knowledgeable about the game. So do your part. Like Paul says right here, you come out Saturday and you win the jersey, you ain't got to ship it. You going home with it that day. So come out and show your support. But like I said, that's going to do it for me. That's going to do in this. Go follow me on X. Go follow me at Tiger Joker 84. Follow the podcast page at Purple and Gold Talk 1. Like this video, share this video, get the word out about the things that are happening around LSU, the great things that are happening. Support this program. Do your part. That's all we ask. Do your part. Don't complain if you're not going to do your part. So, like this video, share it, tell your friends about it. Hoping to make it a little bit bigger, start doing more things. We're gonna try to get into a little football, a little basketball, softball. Softball's actually won the past 3 series, so they're on the upward rise as well. I'm not gonna admit that I'm a big softball follower. I'll watch them. It interferes with baseball a lot, and I'm always going to choose baseball over softball, but I will support LSU softball. And I do pay attention to scores and stuff like that. But like I said, we're going to try to grow this podcast to reach out to other sports and things like that. Just right now, we're in baseball mode. And as a fan, football will always be king. But baseball will always hold a special place in my heart, because it's what I played growing up, and it's the love of the game. I'd much rather go to a baseball game in person than a football game. Now I'm going to watch a football game on TV, and I'm going to cheer, and I'm going to get loud. But as a fan of the sport, baseball is better in person. So that's going to do it. I appreciate everyone who came. Paul, Mr. Jim, Robbie, thank you all for joining. I think coming up, we have some Babbing on the Bayou at 5 o'clock. Go give them a follow. Walk It Off Talk at 6, where Miss Tiger Joker is actually up for Pick to Click for a Danny Dickinson jersey. So wish us luck. I'm sorry, wish her luck. It's going to be hanging on that wall if she wins it, but it'd be hers to win. So, yeah, do your part. Like this video, share this video, and I look forward to talking to y'all later. And let's go Tigers. Let's do what we do. Let's get into the postseason. Let's make some noise. So that's going to do it. As always, go Tigers.